Nice right hook again.
Body shots, hand speed. At the moment, all too much for Dillian White.
Temple shot.
And he's going on. Body shot for the count. White in desperate trouble. And very early. Can he survive this?
I did say this in Saudi that whoever did this matchmaking should go to prison. Should go to jail, for years, But I don't mean the promoter, Frank Warren. I mean his management team, because they know how he's doing in the gym. You understand? This is like boxing is like football. If your manager comes, if the management or the trainer of the team watching, he will tell you, okay, you're not fit because you're not doing it right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Even from the opening bell, it felt like something was off. Dillian's usually stoic corner already looked rattled. Uncertainty swirling in their eyes suddenly became accusations, the kind that demand accountability, not just answers. Decisions that pave the way for this calamity. It wasn't just about a single bad punch or a momentary lapse in focus. It was a cascade of missteps, each one compounding the errors of the last. Fans wanted a battle of attrition, but instead they witnessed a swift, surgical finish. As analysts dissected every frame, it became clear. The loss wasn't random, nor was it merely unfortunate. It was the product of a system asleep at the wheel, one that failed to prepare Dillian for the storm that was about to break.
Devastating knockout power, bro. This have Mike Tyson type of energy all over it. He's going to give these tough guys, he's going to give these veterans a hell of a time, bro. He's poised, he's patient, and he got that knockout power. He know how to set it up. It's going to be a nightmare to get rid of this guy, man.
There's been so much talk of Moses Itauma. His talent, we've said how talented he really is. Now he's doing it on the big stage, the main event. That's another level now, isn't it?
Well, we know Dillian White came in here, being knocked out a couple times, wanted to see could he land a punch on this young kid, but he didn't have a chance tonight. He got mowed over, and this is a big win.
Outside the ring, the fallout was immediate and savage. Antonio Tarver, never one to sugarcoat his opinions, delivered a verdict that hung in the air like a warning flare. It's gonna be a nightmare. His YouTube video details the emotional carnage at play. Tarver doesn't just critique the technicalities. He pinpoints the psychological unraveling, the way nerves snapped and reason gave way to chaos. Moses Ituama didn't just win, he dismantled a reputation, brick by brick. Tarver explains, with every frame he rewinds, the devastation becomes more apparent. This wasn't luck, but a calculated professional dismantlement of White's game plan.
Boxing's a young man's game and he waits for nobody. So here's the opinion, you've heard it here first. Moses Itauma will wreck all them old men out of the division. Usyk, AJ, Miller, whoever there is who's old, Zhang.
Meanwhile, heavyweight kingpins tuned in, their own ambitions flickering as they considered the implications. Tyson Fury didn't mince words in his analysis of Moses Itauma's performance, declaring to the world, Moses Itauma would wreck Usyk. Fury's larger-than-life bravado collides with honest fear. This is a new generation, rising fast, and even the best in the world have to respect that kind of talent. Fury breaks down the fight, dissecting White's lack of answers for Moses' southpaw assault. His tone is half respectful, half challenged. If Moses keeps up this momentum, the division's landscape is about to change forever.
He always goes out there, gives everything, as a terror, is exciting, he's a big character, big personality. And then when they get to a stage of the career where you feel as though it's that fight where they're gonna be, where it's kind of like, it's way too much for them and it's gonna be, quite a nasty ending for him, a nasty ending to a career. I was worried for Dillian going into that this would be that fight, and it was. I mean, that you don't get as it can't be any worse than that to punctuate a career, to end a career.
Before we talk about what's potentially next for Dillian, let's talk about Moses. It's hard because we almost want to, feel like we want to learn a bit more about him. No, genuinely. Yeah. I wanted at least to see about 4 or 5 rounds, and maybe I don't want to necessarily say, oh, get clipped with a few, because if you can move out
No,
the way,
you
great.
want questions asked, don't you?
I want to see, you know, if you get dragged into the trenches a little bit, where can we go here? But you don't ever get that far. So is that, I suppose, maybe the only thing you got? I thought we'd have seen a bit more of him.
Yeah, that's what you want to. You want to tick boxes as a fan, as somebody who's trying to see how far this kid can go. When we get something spectacular, you want to see him have questions put in front of him and see, like you say, can they go a few rounds? What happens? Yeah.
The ripples spread beyond British borders. Ben Davison, celebrated trainer and tactical savant, weighed in just moments after the match. His reaction raw and unscripted. In the KO wasn't just spectacular. It sent a message to everyone at heavyweight. Alexander Usyk, you could be next. Davison's insight cuts through the fanfare. He gives Moses credit for the footwork, the timing, the calculated risk that paid off in thunder. Then he draws attention to White's confusion, as if the southpaw stance was an alien language and nobody in his camp had learned how to translate. This wasn't just about skill, it was about readiness. Moses was a killer in there, focused, ruthless, and Dillian just couldn't keep up. No one dissected the technical aspects more rigorously than Dave Coldwell. Launching into the full breakdown in Coldwell's narrative is chillingly honest. This was always going to be the fight that ended badly for Dillian. He replays the short exchange, highlighting the fatal left hand, one temple shot. Dillian just doesn't have the experience against southpaws. He looked lost. He looked finished. Moses closed the chapter, but Coldwell pulls no punches for the post-fight drama either. While he expresses authentic concern for Dillian's well-being, he makes it clear, excuses mean nothing now. Dillian's legacy in one brutal round was revised. Dean's infamous storming of Moses outside the stadium becomes an embarrassing footnote. One man's failed effort to mask defeat with anger, to drown out the truth with collapse.
That was some finish.
That was a statement. Nobody's ever done that to Dillian. And you look at the fighters he's been with over the years, you look at the condition he come in at, he was very confident. And even when you look at his losses, they've been into real good quality fighters, world championship fights. And look at the hard fights he's given people, the fights that he's won. And then you look at this 20-year-old who got in there and just done something special.
He's got so much maturity and composure.
Frank Warren, the legendary promoter, could barely contain his emotions in the immediate aftermath. His reaction itself becomes a spectacle, his rage directed at officials, the system, and perhaps at his own inability to see what was coming. The room pulses with tension. Warren calls for radical changes, his voice booming over a stunned crowd. Everyone senses the magnitude of the upset. Warren himself inadvertently highlights how Moses' win didn't just defeat a fighter. It flipped the heavyweight narrative inside out. As promoters and trainers point fingers, one fact stands tall. Itauma announced himself to the world. News travels swiftly in the boxing world, especially when legends are left speechless. Offers a series of candid, shell-shocked reactions. Ron Goodall, among others, can barely find words. What did we just witness? One whispers, almost in disbelief. This wasn't the kind of victory that gets swept under the rug. It was the kind that changes conversations, reshapes careers, and forces everyone back to the drawing board.
Everybody here, and if that is the case and he hasn't told anybody, then he's an idiot.
Okay. Frank, just lastly, what did Moses say to you in there?
He's just happy. He just said he was short. He said, I've trained all that, trained hard. He was short. I said, don't worry about it. You've done the job and you've done it in style and made a statement. And he certainly has made a statement. Whatever way you want to look at it, Dillian trained hard for this fight, really hard for it. And when you look at him again, he was it 3 losses on his record to world champions. Unbelievable performance. Nobody's done that to him. Nobody.
Thoughts on the wrecking ball?
As the dust settled, the fight disciples Adam Catterall and Nick Pete decided it was time for reflection. In the deep dive analysis, they unravel why Moses Itauma's performance matters so much and what Dillian's camp's implosion signals for the sport. If you focus on the wrong things, you get punished, they echo Chisora's early warning, linking it back to the core lesson of the night. The panel dissects not just the skill of Moses, but also the meltdown of Dean and the shockwaves hitting the heavyweight scene. Dillian's mistakes, once dismissed as fixable flaws, are now viewed as career-defining errors. In the aftermath of the historic upset, every detail of the fight and the circus outside the ring is re-examined, debated, immortalized in digital ink. Gareth Ed Davies, with his trademark sharpness, joins the growing chorus. It was disappointing. Try to piece together what few can explain. It's not just about one mistake or one punch. It's about a culture in the White camp, one that ignored reality until it was too late. His verdict is unflinching, his tone begrudgingly respectful toward Moses, but ruthless toward the chaos unleashed by Dean's post-fight outburst.